white college-educated women are the problem. Seriously? Do you really believe that? Why do you vote for men who would say that white college-educated women are the problem with America? Matt Gaetz just said that, and it's certainly echoed by many GOP who believe that women are out of control. So many politicians in the GOP are openly saying things like women shouldn't even have the right to vote, that the vote should just be the family, the man, this whole, why are you, MAGA women specifically, why are you telling your daughters to not get educated? I know many of you probably couldn't survive without your husband's income, without the home. I get that. That's your life. But I would like my children and taught them that you should be able to be sufficient on your own. It's great to get married, love someone, but you need to be able to take care of your own. You need to have your own personal finances, or else somebody else can control you. But that's where we get back to what I call the best bad women, who allow themselves to be controlled and even preach it. I mean, they pull it right out of this Bible. They think says that, even though that's not what Jesus Christ Christian title, it's in the title, Christian, what Christ said was never anything about women or poor people or slaves or homosexuals or anybody being lesser than anybody else. So I challenge my MAGA Christian women to explain to me why you believe that women shouldn't hold the highest office in the land. And I know that only 2%, despite all the problems right now and the fascist takeover of our government and losing retirement and everything, these people are still standing by this archaic belief that manufacturing can be centralized in our own country. It's a global world now. That's not how it works. But I'm not going to preach about economics to you. I could do that, but I'm not going to. I just have so many questions that I cannot understand how anybody, any mother of any child could could vote for someone who, with no scientific basis whatsoever, would force their daughters to carry an ectopic, unviable pregnancy until the point that they almost die. And only when their life is personally threatened can they remove a baby that's in an ectopic, in the fallopian tube, that never had a chance. There are laws against that now. Doctors are scared to do simple, like I had a non-viable pregnancy removed after it died. It was 11 weeks long. I don't know what happened. My baby passed away. And they immediately did a DNC. And today I'd have to go get a court order. I'd have to wait. I'd have to get, they'd have to subpoena doctors and records to make sure the fetus was actually deceased before I had the DNC. And it's like, it was already traumatic enough. And this was on Christmas Eve, no less. So as someone that's been there, I don't understand, but I want to know your position, but I implore on you, MAGA women, to think really hard about your children's future. I know in the immediate sense, you feel like you have to vote for the same party you always have, for the party of your husband. You fear divorce, you fear beating, you fear recrimination. There's so many reasons to fear, and that's the point. We need to set our daughters and our granddaughters up to live in a world, and our gay friends and everybody else who's not cisgender, to have a world where they feel safe, where they can also exist, where we don't care. You can care all you want, but we don't stop them from living their life, where we're not assholes. Just not being assholes. That's pretty much what I think Jesus Christ taught. I'm the daughter of a Methodist minister, and I don't claim to be a Christian, but I don't claim to not be. I say I'm everything or nothing. I believe in the universal force of love and goodness and kindness, and I will fight for that in this world. But I will also not force my daughter, which I don't have, but if I did, to bear the child of a rapist. And I ask MAGA women, why would you do that? Why would you force your daughter to bear the child of incest or rape? And the answer is always, well, my daughter wouldn't be victimized by incest, certainly. And my daughter won't be raped because I'm a good mom, dad, whatever. I will protect my child. And I'm here to tell you, as a childhood sexual assault survivor with a wonderful Norman Rockwell style family, that it can still happen. I'm out to change the language of society with my book, Call It Assault, that comes out June 1st. Sorry for the late start today. We were actually revising the cover and a new subtitle and everything because I just got out of a seminar with Jack Canfield last week, the largest best-selling author of self-help books in the world, both the Chicken Soup for the Soul series and also the Success Principles. And he gave me some invaluable advice. So working on that, and it's out. It's important to me to change the language that we use. So we're going to have to do that to stop women from being victimized. But in the meantime, we've got to enact consent laws that are in keeping with our experience. So for one thing, like I said, my book is titled Call It Assault, and that's because everyone calls it sexual abuse. When you rape somebody, that's an assault. If I punch you in the face, did I commit face abuse? No. Are you going to file face assault charges or face abuse charges? You're going to file assault charges. You're going to have to put face on there. Assault is assault. So if you don't consider rape assault, I don't know what it is. And every medical professional I've ever talked to and people for this book, everyone agrees. They're like, wow, why didn't we think of this? And it's like, I know. Call it assault. And it will change a lot of things because perception is based on words. It's based on language. When you call something abuse, it doesn't seem as bad. You can abuse a puppy, but kicking it across the room is assaulting a puppy. You can abuse a child. You can call them names. That's still a verbal assault, in my opinion. But forcing your penis into somebody is rape, and rape is assault. So we need to call it assault, and we need to vote in ways that support our children's future, not just preserve our present. And I feel like I've found in my work as a neurolinguistic practitioner that because I work with couples, and I can tell who can't be saved. If the person who was not the rapee, if the partner can't get over somehow blaming their partner for what happened to them in childhood, then there's no hope, there's no future. And I find conservative men are more likely to not understand and to have archaic views about women and sex. And those are the people you're voting for. You're voting for people who don't believe in climate change, though their houses are blowing by. Parts of Missouri, southern Missouri, have two tornado warnings a month on average, and it gets worse as you go southeast. I'm not going to preach climate change to you, but I am going to say you need to vote for people that are responsible. You need to set aside your fear of what recrimination is going to come upon you and think about the entire future of your children. Because I know so many women feel trapped right now. They feel trapped by their party, and they feel trapped by the dissonance between their spouses. Frankly, I wouldn't have a spouse. And that's part of this whole thing right now. National studies show that women, and that's part of that, back to the top, white college-educated women will not date a conservative. Conservative men are having a hard time finding women. They're convincing their wives to talk their daughters out of going to college, and instead hosting major events where they get together as teens and try to marry them off to somebody and get them right on the track of somebody controlling them, making those babies. But I can tell you as a neurolinguistic practitioner who has studied brain growth and function that anybody's brain is not fully developed until roughly the age of 25 years old. And so what you're doing is not allowing a person to grow their own judgment skills, just throwing them right in. And you know what? That's the plan. That's the design. That's the patriarchal plan that has worked for a very long time. Subjugate women, marry them off young, tell them who they're going to marry, do it by alliance, and then they trick us into saying, oh, it's culture. It's culture. Respect other people's culture. It's like, I'm terrified about American culture right now, but I'm still even more concerned about the women all over this world that have no choices. I mean, in India, lots of women still get just set on fire. It's not legal, but nothing happens. Nothing serious. It's always her fault. I'm so tired of women voting against women. So I'll go back to the top and ask you again, why do you vote against your own best interests? And if the answer is out of fear, then I encourage you to become your own superhero in your own life and in your families and in your daughters and your granddaughters, your daughters-in-laws. And you step up to the plate and say, I'm not going to vote against women's rights. I'm not going to force women to carry the child of incest or rape. I'm not going to make a woman almost die from pregnancy complications because some man with no knowledge of science has decided that they have to have their own life in jeopardy first, despite all scientific evidence to the contrary. This is becoming archaic and barbaric. And we will end up in a civil war if we don't come together. And the men aren't going to do it. Let's just be real. It's not in them. Women, it's up to us. And the numbers show that. That's why they're attacking women. The numbers show that every group grew. Young, not college-educated men, like, I think there was a 30% something increase or over 20, a big increase in voters for Trump. And even educated, college-educated men grew by 1% for Trump. Of course, white men grew in their support of Trump, not educated white men also. But the only group that hugely dissented was over 30% of college-educated women this time shifted away from Trump to Harris. And that concerns them. So you bet they're going to crack down on us. And I do not accept anyone telling me that I don't have an equal place in society. And rest in peace, Pope Francis. Where he stopped short, wish he'd have kept going. Thank you for saying that same-sex marriages should be blessed. They should be ordained, but at least he got to the blessing stage of the game, even though a lot of churches won't do it, which is dissent in the Catholic Church. And he also literally washed the feet of young prisoners in an act of showing what Jesus would do according to Scripture. He fought for caring about immigrants and trying to work out a global system where we were all cared for. I wish he could have made more progress with both same-sex marriage and what is the other thing that I was thinking of earlier? Oh, I don't even remember. Let's just switch off. So, Christy Dome, proud killer of goats. And as someone, believe it or not, I used to help with the goats on the Irwin farm with my second marriage and father of my two oldest children, family, and always had goats. And goats, I'm going to tell you, they're like dogs. They're rambunctious always, but they know an asshole. They know an asshole. So if the goat was an asshole to Christy Gnome, I am not surprised. That is all I'm saying. Animals know who's an asshole. But killer of Goat Lady, also director of Homeland Security, with no history or experience in anything related to the field, let's just throw that in there, had her purse. and over $3,000 cash. Who carries $3,000 cash? Doing better than me. But when we've got Hedge Seth, now we know, had another signal chat going to his wife, brother, and lawyer about live real-time missile strikes. I'm laughing because it's absurd, not because it's funny. Our pilots' lives are in danger in the hands of fools who refuse to even follow protocol when it comes to communications. So here we've got the Homeland Security Director. I hope Boomer didn't have her passwords in her purse. I'm just saying, I hope Boomer didn't have her passwords in her goddamn purse. And if she's not a Boomer, whatever. And if she is, I also am. I'm the last year of a Boomer, 1964, believe it or not. And I'm here to say, we're not all. There's a big division in Boomers. There's pre-Boomer and post-Boomer. Need to divide it in a couple of categories. I'm just in shock. I'm just in shock. When we've got people in office, I think, isn't it Florida's lieutenant governor saying women shouldn't even have the right to vote? Then he backtracked out of it, but he clearly said it in a meeting. No reason to have women vote, muddy up the waters. Let's just give it to the man, keep you a united front for the whole family. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to curse anymore, but F you, F you, F you, F you, and F you comes to mind in a whole lot of ways. Just saying. So, those nasty women talk. I was just here to say, I have a name, Linda K. Gifford, and I will fight. I will go and I will take my sign. Here's my rally sign. Those nasty women talk. And you know what the other side says? I made a flip side. Need a purple marker still. It says, we are all people. No right, no left. The full party. Forward, united in light and love. And I actually made a Facebook page called The Full Party, Forward, United in Light and Love. And it was like, it's not that I wasn't serious, and not that I was. I just thought this should exist. And that was like last year or a couple of years ago. Now I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's come together from both sides of the aisle. Let's be rational adults. Let's not care whose religion anybody is or who they sleep with and love, and let's just go back to like following the rule of law, being nice to each other. I'm pretty sure everybody's religious doctrine says that, no matter what some patriarchal system did to bastardize it. I will fight for the rights of women in America and all over this world, and I hope that if you are a MAGA woman, that you will reconsider or consider your children's future. Because it really does depend on you. And you know what? When I wear these, I get hundreds and hundreds of instant views, which is sickening proof that becoming a cult is what's necessary. We have to be just as powerful as these people. We have to be just as present. And if it takes a gimmick, well, you know what? You gotta have a gimmick. You gotta have a gimmick. Let's save America. I'll talk to you tomorrow.